In a world where appearances often dictate treatment, one incident stands as a powerful reminder of humility, power, and the value of dignity. This is the story of how a simple flight became the setting for a revealing encounter between a flight attendant and a man who, beneath his quiet demeanor and modest clothing, wielded the power of a nation. This is the story of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the President of Burkina Faso, and how a moment of misjudgment in the confined space of an aircraft unraveled a larger truth about human behavior and leadership. It was a routine flight from Paris, France, to Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso. The aircraft, operated by a major European airline, was moderately full with travelers from all walks of life: business people, tourists, expatriates returning home, and diplomatic officials. Among them was a man who did not draw attention to himself. Clad in plain clothes, with no entourage or signs of opulence, he carried himself like any other passenger. To the flight crew, he was just another traveler. His demeanor was calm, perhaps even military-like, but nothing suggested he was anyone of importance. As the plane ascended into the sky, he took his seat, pulled out a modest book, and quietly settled in for the flight. Midway through the journey, the man politely requested a seat adjustment. Perhaps the tray table was malfunctioning or the seat was slightly uncomfortable. He asked the flight attendant for assistance. Overwhelmed with duties, possibly stressed or distracted, the flight attendant responded in a curt, dismissive tone. She brushed off his request, suggesting he wait or deal with it himself. Passengers nearby noticed the interaction. Some raised eyebrows, others dismissed it as just another moment of airline tension. But what stood out was the man's response. He didn't push back. He didn't insist on special treatment. He simply nodded, thanked her, and resumed his quiet seat. As the flight continued, a buzz started circulating among a few informed passengers. One of them, recognizing the man, leaned over and whispered to another, "That's Captain Ibrahim Traoré." The whisper became a wave. Soon enough, one of the junior flight crew members confirmed the rumor. The man in the plane's seat, treated with indifference just moments ago, was not only a high-ranking military official, but the sitting president of Burkina Faso. Captain Ibrahim Traoré had risen to power not through wealth or celebrity, but through discipline, resolve, and a popular uprising against corruption and instability. His leadership was defined by transparency and a connection to the everyday citizens of his country. Unlike many leaders who surrounded themselves with luxury and security, Traoré was known for appearing among his people unguarded, humble, and direct. The flight attendant, now aware of her mistake, approached him once again, this time with an entirely different tone. Her face was flushed, her posture respectful, and her voice apologetic. She explained her earlier rudeness, citing fatigue and stress, and expressed deep regret for how she had spoken to him. President Traoré, consistent with his character, accepted the apology with grace. He smiled gently and reminded her, "Titles don't make people worthy of respect. Kindness should be the default." It was not just a moment of humility, but a teaching moment, a quiet demonstration of leadership by example. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to True Crime, True Justice, and turn on the bell icon so you're notified when we drop our next story. Captain Ibrahim Traoré is not the typical image of a president. Born in 1988, he rose through the military ranks with a reputation for integrity and strategic intelligence. In 2022, at just 34 years old, he became the leader of Burkina Faso, following a military takeover that ousted the previous interim government. His rise came during a time of national crisis. Burkina Faso was grappling with increasing instability, terrorist insurgencies, and widespread dissatisfaction with leadership. Traoré, then a captain in the army, emerged as a voice of reform. Unlike others who seized power through coercion, his leadership was greeted with cautious hope by a population desperate for change. Under his guidance, he promised to root out corruption, restore security, and return power to the people. His style was notably different. No parades of wealth, no isolation behind tinted convoys. He walked among his people. He showed up where leaders rarely did. When news of the flight incident reached the public, reactions were swift and varied. In Burkina Faso, citizens took pride in their president's humility. Social media lit up with praise for his calm demeanor and his embodiment of leadership rooted in dignity rather than dominance. In other corners of the world, the incident sparked conversations about how society treats people based on appearance and perceived status. Many noted how easy it is to dismiss someone who doesn't look important, and how often this reflects deeper societal issues. Commentators also pointed out that had President Traoré revealed his identity up front, the situation might have unfolded very differently. But the fact that he chose not to flex his status added even more weight to the lesson at hand. This incident, while seemingly small, reveals the essence of true leadership. It's not about commanding respect through power, but earning it through humility. Traoré demonstrated that the most powerful people are often the quietest in the room. His refusal to escalate the situation showed not weakness, but strength. True leaders, like Traoré, understand that their actions, especially in moments of discomfort or disrespect, speak louder than any title or speech. It's easy to demand courtesy when everyone knows who you are. It's harder and more telling to show grace when you are underestimated. The flight attendant's initial behavior reflects a broader social dynamic, how we unconsciously prioritize individuals based on perceived importance. Whether in customer service, corporate environments, or daily life, it is a common failing. What would have happened if the man was not a president, but simply a retired teacher or a low-income worker heading home to family? Would the apology have been made? Would the respect have followed? This incident forces us to confront these uncomfortable questions. It challenges us to ask, do we only treat people well when we think they can do something for us? In an era where many leaders are distant and inaccessible, Traoré's approach humanizes power. He sets an example not just for presidents and politicians, but for anyone in a position of influence. Leadership is not just about governance, but how one conducts themselves when no one is watching, or when everyone is. The encounter on that flight became symbolic. It wasn't just about a flight attendant and a president. It was about status, humanity, and the kind of world we want to live in, one where respect is earned, but also freely given. The story of Captain Ibrahim Traoré and the flight attendant is more than a viral moment or a news headline. It is a real-life parable, a slow-burning tale of grace under pressure and the silent power of humility. As the plane touched down in Ouagadougou, It carried more than luggage and passengers. It carried a story that would travel far beyond the runway, into living rooms, social feeds, and the hearts of those seeking examples of integrity in leadership. In the end, this wasn't just a lesson for the flight attendant, it was a lesson for all of us. Respect, after all, should never require a title. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to True Crime, True Justice, and turn on the bell icon so you're notified when we drop our next story. Until then, stay curious, stay aware, and stay true.